Well, good evening, everyone. My name is Debbie Singleton, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I come to you live Monday evenings. I know I have not been live for quite some time, and I apologize. I was having computer issues, and we were traveling quite a bit, so I have not been on here in a very long time, so I apologize. So hopefully this evening I have everything all figured out. I got a new computer. Sometimes that can be fatal. But I also think I have figured out my streaming issue. Good evening, Mom. So my streaming company kept thinking that I had a different account, and it kept kicking me off, and it kept saying that I had a different account when I didn't, and I was extremely frustrated. So I think I have the streaming company fixed. So tonight we're going to keep our fingers crossed, and I have that issue fixed. So hopefully, and then I got a new computer, and I have a lot faster stuff and a lot better issues. But I've just only been on it for a little while. So hopefully with all those things, everything's fixed and we can stream tonight and we're going to have a good time. So I had already picked out a card to do last week when I still couldn't stream, but we're here. So it's fall and I wanted to do a fall card, and we have this wonderful suite that is online, and it is called Gathering Together. Perfect name for it. It is a huge suite. You know, sometimes our suites are like stamps and then a die set and then paper and then an embellishment and then this one is linen thread. But in this one you get an additional, and I don't have it with me, I put it away, but you get an embossing folder. So that's kind of nice. So this whole, if you buy the whole thing together, it's $101.50. So that's kind of nice. But this paper, it's perfect fall paper. This is beautiful paper. The other side is kind of just leaves, but it's kind of a plain. And then let's see, it's got all kinds of beautiful paper in here. That's the one I used. That was my favorite out of there. I really wanted the paper to be, it's all fall colors. Then this one has kind of one is white background, and then one is got a darker background. This has really pretty gold in it, and then it's got it's kind of like my nails. Oh my goodness. And so it's kind of a check background, and then there's a brown one, then there's another gold one in there, another brown one, green background. Let's see, what are the others? Another leaf one. So again, these are all fall colors, beautiful colors. Got them all mixed up. This is just kind of a plain, it's kind of a plain background, so great to just put it behind some stuff. So again, fall colors, which is what I liked. I like fall colors. So that's what I used. And then, so then you get the linen thread. I just gotta come down here. This is Early Espresso and Old Olive, which is awesome. Then you get these streaked dots, which are again brown color, amazing, which would go with all different things that you use for fall. So again, these are neat to use. And then when you're doing fall colors, in this is Cajun Craze. I love Cajun Craze this time of year. So this set I used, in the inside I used, yes, Expressing Heartfelt Gratitude. You could do many things. Thankful for you. Your friendship means a lot. Or gather. That would be nice to gather. But I wanted autumn wishes, but that's not in this set. So I pulled out, we have another autumn set, Amber Autumn. It has autumn wishes. It has blessed to have you in my life, grateful for you, thanks, and you're simply the best. Again, it's another stamp set that is autumn. Again, another nice stamp set. It's just not in this particular one, so I actually used 2 stamp sets. But this one has, well, they both have it, but I used the die set out of this one, and I used the acorn, and I used these 2 leaves for the front of this. So I die cut these out. And this I stamped, and I just fussy cut it. And it was so simple because I just cut around it. I didn't even really wiggle that much around there. But I'm actually going to have to pull out these dies. So I thought we would start by, I cut out a couple of these, but I thought I would show you how easy these are to die cut. So I brought in the little Stamp and Emboss machine because these are little. So I thought we would cut out one more acorn and one more. I don't actually need one more of these, but I thought we'd do the big leaf. So anytime you sandwich either using the big one or the little one, you always need to put the plate number 1, and it tells you here at the bottom, and you need plate number 2. So you always need those 2 plates. And I have to turn it this way so that I can crank it. So I'm going to actually put both of these on here. And then I'm going to use a piece of, you can use a Post-it note. And actually this is Post-it. It's called Post-it labeling and cover-up tape. And I'm going to actually want to hold these 2 pieces in place so that it won't move around when I put this on here. I'll show you once I get this on here because it's not in camera, but I'll show you once I get it placed on here what this is going to look like. So we don't want it to move once I put this on here so that it will stay in place. So we want to line this up as best we can, and you're going to want some white around it, but you're going to want to line it up as best as you can. Now we're going to do this big flower, this big leaf. Oh, see now it came off already. I'm already not stuck. I might have to get me a new piece that's going to stick. Silly thing. Right, you're supposed to stay on there and not move. Haven't even begun yet, and you're already moving on me. All right, so let's do this piece. And you can do this with the big die as well. You can put more than one on your die set. And that way you can cut a couple pieces at the same time and save yourself some time. Okay. All right. So I have this on here. And so I have it placed, and I put the piece on here so it'll stay on here, and then I'm going to put that in my, and then you put the other number 2 on top. So you're making a sandwich basically, and then you can go through here. And gonna come out. So I made a sandwich. The number one is on the bottom, and number 2, and then I put the 2 pieces and then a number 2 on the top. And it comes out. So that came out like that. So we have a 1, a 2, and a 2. So we take this off, and then there's our pieces. So it looks like it moved a little bit on me, but that'll be okay. It's okay to be, and then this peels off. It peels off. And then we have a leaf cutout. And then we should have an acorn. That came off. And now we have another acorn. But see how it cuts around it for you. Now we don't have to fussy cut that. So I love when we have dies and we're able to do that. So peel this off. I'm gonna throw this away. If I were cutting more, I would save that and use that over and over and over again. All right, let's put this back on so I don't lose it because it's a little piece. And I will save those white pieces and use them again. Let's put this on here so I don't lose it. Put it back in its case. Otherwise, I lose the pieces and I don't know where they're going to. So, and the nice thing about this is both of them, both the small and the big ones, these split up. And then this goes away, and we're done with that. All right, I'd already cut out one of the acorns and the other yellow one I'm using. And then to cut out the autumn wishes, simple. So I did this one really easily. I literally did not do a whole bunch of cutting in. Just cut a little bit, and then I just cut it around it just a little bit. If you want more, if you want to cut more, you can. But I just made it really easy, and I just really just cut around it, just to give it a little bit of, so it wasn't just square. And we have a lot of dyes that you can use also to give it texture too. So you could pull one of those out and use that. I just thought just giving it this would be fun too. Super simple, nice and easy. A dye would fit on this little front portion that I'm using, so I could go pull one out and just use that. We have stamps also, that punches that'll work too. So these are all the pieces that we're going to work with. Let's put them, sorry, I'm out of camera. I'm trying to put them, but, so now we're going to work with all these pieces. All right, so this is the piece that's got the darker in it. And I'm going to just use it on the envelope because I couldn't find the white piece that I was working with, and it'll be fine. The other piece is white, but it'll be fine. So this is going to be the piece for my envelope. So I'm going to put that on the envelope just so that can dry so we can cut that, because I always get that all blobby. So get that on there. Well, that can always sit and dry. And okay, so we'll let that dry a little bit. And then I did stamp, oops, expressing heartfelt gratitude. And our card base, I'm going to set that aside. So our card base is 4 1/4 by 11. Oops, and I got to cut this piece off because we're going to use it. Okay, so you just go in here and it's 4 1/4. It's by 11. And we're going to score it at 5.5. So I'm going to score at 5.5. And we want to use the gray, which is, it's not in camera. Let's go this way. It's like way out of camera. So I'm going to score at 5.5. So I'm going to use the gray one. All right. Now we also need to take some off, so that will be our flap piece, and that is I wrote these instructions all day today, and now I can't seem to find them. Oh, here it is. 2 3/4. 2 3/4. I think is right there. I always forget. So I have to take out my cheat piece. Yeah. Yep. 2 3/4. We're going to take that piece off, but we're going to use that piece, so we're going to save it. Okay. Oops. All right, so we can fold this and fold the other side. So we want that nice and flat. Okay. All right. Now, since I already stamped the inside, I can glue this onto the inside. But how I got where I wanted to stamp this is I put this inside here where I thought I was going to glue it. So I kind of laid this in here. And then I took this piece and I kind of laid it where I was going to put it. And that kind of gave me an idea about where I wanted to stamp it. So I kind of flipped this over and I was like, okay, that kind of gave me an idea about where I wanted to put that. So that's kind of how I figured out where I wanted to stamp that. All right, so we can put this inside. And glue that. This gets slippery, so I'm going to actually just use this so this doesn't slide around on me. Okay. Then our designer series paper is, our DSP is 4 by 2.5, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 4 by 2.5. So I want it this way though. I don't want the mushrooms upside down. So we can glue that on. I find that if you do it this way, you can. It's totally fine. But I find I'm fighting with the flaps. So I like to open it up and lay it flat. Then I'm not fighting with the flap and trying to do that. I just find that it's easier. Then I'm not fighting with it. And I have a flat surface and I can see what I'm doing. Just makes it easier than I'm not fighting with the whole card and the flap and it all being crazy. Just seems to work for me. All right. And that's that. Alrighty, now we can, I used white. You can use a different color if you want, because we have this on here. We're going to put this on here. I just happened to use white, but we can use any color to put on here, and it would have worked just fine. But this is the piece that we cut off of here, so that's going to be nice. This white piece is 4 by 2.5, so we're going to glue that on. And again, I'm going to do that on here, just makes it easier. Sometimes I pick it up and do it. That also makes it so that it doesn't move around a lot. And then I use Tombow because that gives me some wiggle room. If I do make a mistake, I can pick it up and do that. This gives me a little bit easier. All right, now we're going to glue this on, but be sure you're not putting glue on the whole thing. Otherwise, you glue it down and then you can't open the card. So decipher where you want to put it. Again, we kind of already sort of deciphered, but just again, decipher once again about where you're going to put it. And I kind of eyeballed it. I really didn't have any, but I just kind of knew, and I just used my fingers. And I'm like, okay, so that's about where I want. So I want all the glue on this side. So I just kind of kept my finger there. And yes, I've also, the glue will hold it. We're not putting that many layers on here. So, I've used Tear and Tape before, but we're not putting a whole lot on here. So the glue will hold it. It's not like we're putting a bunch of stuff on here. So the Tombow is really strong, so it will hold it. So there we go. Looks about even. Oh yeah, I know. Sometimes I try to give out some good tips. I'm glad they thought it was a really good tip. And see, and then I don't have glue over here either. But yeah, you got to be careful. You're not going to glue all that on there. I almost did that earlier. I'm like, oops. So now we're going to build. You can build it before, but I like to build it while it's on here so that I make sure that I don't build too much of it. And yes, I'm going to use my dimensionals because I just think dimensionals will give it so much more pop. So I turn all these over so that I know how much dimensionals. So I'm going to put dimensionals on everything. And then that will let me know. This gives it some nice pop to it. And I probably should have used like some more layers, did some more colors, like did a different color than white there, but I hadn't thought about it until later, but it's fine. It looks fine. Okay, so I'm going to put my autumn on here first. That's going to give me an idea of where to put everything else. So the autumn will go first. And on this card, I figured out I could probably put it more right here. I could even put it down more. All right, and then kind of built the other pieces. Again, you could add more leaves if you want to it. But I just kind of thought just a couple. Just needed to give it just, that was a lot on there. All right, they're sticking to my fingers. All right, this one I want to go in behind there, and this one I want on top. Then I stick it all down. Then I tied a bow with my here we go, with this linen thread, which I thought was perfect. And I'm going to put it on with a dot, but the dot is too big, so I kind of rolled it up a little bit. Can't see that. And then it'll be on the knot instead of just a huge ball. And then that'll sit on here and kind of a little bit hide all the things together. And then we can trim it. I don't want it hanging off too much because it's going to go in the envelope, so I do want it on there. And then we will put on these dots. And then we will be done. All right. I think I put like 3 dots on here. I kind of dressed it up as well. These are pretty sticky, so. All right, this one is not coming off. There we go. Okay, let's cut the edges of the envelope. Oh, good. So you saw how I kind of crinkled that up, because otherwise it'll start sticking to everything if you don't like roll it up a little bit, since that linen thread is so tiny. Whereas if you have the regular bow, it'll fit on there perfect. All right, here we go. So now we're done. And there's our card for the night. And we stayed on the whole time. That was so exciting. So I think I have the problem solved. So, new computer, the streaming systems, things to think that I have the right streaming system now. So I think we're good. Perfect. All right. There's our card for the night. And I'll pick something for the next week, and we're set to go. If you need anything, let me know. Otherwise, I will see you all next week. Thank you for joining. I certainly appreciate it. Thanks for sticking with me, and we will see you next week. Have a great week. Thank you.